As an African child, you're born into debt. You've been their retirement plan. Did they really immigrate for you or for a better life for themselves?
My children don't owe me a degree. They don't owe me grandchildren. They don't owe me marriage. I don't expect them to take care of me when I'm older. They owe me nothing. Because my love is not transactional. I give because I choose to, not because I expect something in return. And if they grow up feeling loved, safe, seen, heard, that's my reward. And that's enough.
Honestly, right, I don't understand why some parents feel like their kids owe them something, which leads them to have unrealistic expectations of the kid, okay? Especially when the kid is so young. And I dislike how the way they perceive their kids as investments rather than someone to guide, to love, or to treasure. And the most important thing is that the kid never asked to be born, okay? They chose to have the kid, okay? And when this becomes a problem, right, over time, the kid will start questioning their worth. And they'll start living for others or like their parents rather than start living for themselves. And honestly, it's because of their backward way of thinking. And honestly, to me, this can be deemed as selfish. And honestly, some parents don't deserve to have kids. And I always believe that every kid deserves a good and loving parent who actually care about them rather for their own selfish needs.
Why is it that one mother can take care of 5 children, but years later, when the mother needs taken care of, 5 children can't take care of one mother?
Oh, I know. Because your children aren't your caregivers. It's very simple, actually. Now, you, as the parent, are inherently your child's caregiver. That is part of being a good, supportive, basic parent, is taking care of your children. Your children are not automatically your caregivers. You should not be having children with the intent of them being your caretakers later in life. I think it's super weird to have children, and as you're looking at this small human grow, you think, I can't wait until they do something for me later. You don't know where your children will be living. You don't even know if they have the qualifications to take care of you in your old age. But even all of that pales in comparison to the base issue, and that is that children do not owe you for taking care of them as children. That is your job as the parent. Children are not obligated to be your caregivers.
Children are not a retirement plan. Let's talk about it. In my experience, I find that in a lot of older generation African parent homes, they always invest into that one child. That one child gets all the education, all the opportunities, even the best shoes. But then there's a caveat to that. It's basically a curse and a blessing. Once you start making money, you are expected to sow right back into your family. Not only are you stuck taking care of your parents, you're also stuck taking care of your bum siblings that they had just in case you didn't work out. In an ever-evolving economic world, it is becoming more and more difficult for the younger generation to buy land, to own property, or even to have surplus after their paycheck. More and more people are living paycheck to paycheck. One thing you need to know about wealth is it accumulates best when invested early. So with a lot of diasporans in particular, when we go to places and meet our counterparts, even though we have equal opportunities as them, we are left behind because we're constantly giving 50% of everything to Zimbabwe. We miss that early investment window and therefore are stuck in the cycle where we have to give everything we have and are never able to accumulate anything. So when our peers are accumulating generational wealth, we are stuck taking care of families we did not make.
My children are not my life. They are a big part of my life. They may be an important part of my life, but they are certainly not my life. I get mom shamed a lot for saying stuff like this, but I genuinely do not center my life around my children. My children are a big and important part, but most of the decisions that I make are for me, not for them. Because I've come to understand that the happier I am with my life and myself, the happier I am as a parent, and the more I pour into my children if I'm feeling happy and fulfilled. As moms, we give each other high fives, the more we sacrifice, the better of a parent we are. And it's so messed up. If your children are your life, I'm worried about what's going to happen to you when they reach an age where they no longer need you. Especially if you have a son. That's how monster in-laws are created. You've built your entire life around this child. Now this child has somebody else who's more interesting and they're in love and they want to spend more time with that person than you. Then you start making messed up excuses to get your son to spend more time with you. You pretend to be sick, you become manipulative, then you hate the girlfriend or the wife because you made it okay in your youth to be overly obsessed with your child. So here's to being a parent who is living for themselves. Cheers.
Your kids are not your retirement plan. And if your child grow up and get a job or whatever and decide to give you money, they did just that. They decide they're not obligated to do that. And I feel like a lot of parents don't get that. As soon as they go and have kids, they assume like this is going to be the person that's going to take care of me when I'm older. They're going to do all the good stuff for me, so let me pour into them. Newsflash, that does not guarantee that that child is going to do that. And if that child don't do that, there is no reason for you to hate that child. You made the decision to bring the child here. Great. You made the decision to take care of the child. Great. What that child grow up and decides to do in return is totally up to the child. I've said this before and they came at me, oh, you're the type to not do this, not do that. No, I am a realist. I do not owe my parents anything at all. I do what I can for my mom. I do nice stuff just because I feel like doing it, and I love to see the joy she gets because I know obviously she didn't experience certain stuff, and I want to have her experience that. Like the little girl in me is just like go mom, you know. But the reality is I don't owe you anything. And I think people don't get that. So like somebody like me, when I'm like, I don't want kids and never want kids. And people are like, who's gonna take care of a nursing home? So work, save your money, make sure you have some money to go to a nursing home. Because whether I have kids or not, honestly, that's probably where I'm gonna end up anyways. Because why would I want my kids, my grown kids, to then change their life around when I'm older, God forbid something happens, and they now have me as a burden to them because that's just what I'm gonna be, a burden.
I came across a video today that really disturbed me. So a girl is recording a conversation between her and her mum on Mother's Day. Now, this girl had bought her mum, I believe it was chocolate and flowers or something on Mother's Day. It was something thoughtful, something meaningful, something within her means. So you ask, what was the mother's response? The mother's response was something along the lines of, why were you born to me? Why did you come to me? Why should I be your mother? Why did you pick me? You should have picked somebody else. It seemed as though the mother was really upset about something. Now, when you go into the comments, you kind of get the backstory. So it seems as though the mother wasn't happy about the Mother's Day gift that the daughter had given her. Apparently, what she really wanted was the latest Samsung Fold. So I don't know if this is an issue only within, the African community, that children are born to become financial providers to their parents or cash cows for their parents. I mean, I don't know if this is an issue that every community experiences, but it needs to stop. Yes, honor your parents. Yes, be generous. Yes, give when you can. But love doesn't come from lavish gifts. Gifts should come from the heart and not from guilt and pressure. I'm raising my children to be givers, but also to understand that value is not necessarily in a price tag. And I hope when they're grown, married and successful, that I'll still be the kind of mother that will celebrate the thought and not just the value in whatever it is that they give to me. Because listen, poverty mindset isn't just about lacking money, but it's also about lacking perspective. Parents, let's do better. Let's stop flipping the script by measuring our children's love by the size of their wallet. And this lesson of appreciation and love and honor that you so badly want to teach them, start with us. Start with you.
Children are not retirement plans. Like, you should not have children with the mindset that they're going to take care of you when you get old. Like, that's not why you have children. You have to know when you have kids, they're going to grow up and they're going to live their own life how they want to live it, right? So I see this creator giving commentary on a story about an 84-year-old man who shot his son in the face because this man, has a wife who's on hospice and he has a disabled daughter. And the son normally comes throughout the week to check on them and help him. But he skipped a weekend. Uh, he has his own family. He has a wife. He has other obligations. He skipped a weekend, and the 84-year-old father was mad. So when he did show up, he shot him in the face, and he was charged with attempted murder. And the creator is saying, the son should have had them in a home. An 84-year-old shouldn't be living by themselves. Like, are you okay? That is not the son's responsibility. But considering the father was so entitled that he shot his son for missing one weekend, that tells me that man is stubborn and stuck in his ways. And he probably did not want to leave his home. He did not want to leave his home, and he probably wouldn't have gone to a home, a living facility. And he probably would run them people wild if they did force him into one. And then living facilities are expensive. They're expensive. Insurance don't always cover that. He's probably living in a paid off house. And 84, my granddad is about to be 80. This man lives in his home. He goes running every morning. He still drives. Like, he's still very much a youthful 80-year-old. So it's not clicking for me. And I'm sure at 84 there might be some memory loss, there might be some dementia there. I don't know. Maybe that's why he was so aggressive towards his son to shoot him for missing one weekend when his son comes throughout the week. But that also kind of tells you what type of father he was growing up. It don't seem like he was a good dad. And no, the son shouldn't have to stop what he's doing, change his plans around for his parents. You set up, they should have had their retirement together. You don't have kids. That's not why you have kids. You do not have kids because you want somebody to take care of you when you're old. That's not how it works.
My biggest prayer is that I never have to use my kids as my retirement plan. Um, our parents, especially coming from an African household, they made some pretty bad investments. Or let me not use the word bad, but they made investments for themselves, assuming that their children would have the same visions that they had. A lot of African parents, they work their butts off in abroad. Only for them, 90% of their paycheck was going back home to feed other family members and to buy these properties and build mansions and whatever the case, your specific case may be, right? And that doesn't benefit us because you're putting us through school here. Most of our schooling is government funded. If you guys didn't know, now you know. Like even in college, a lot of kids are taking out loans, government loans, to fulfill their education. And people are going to school to become doctors, to become engineers, to become lawyers. I tell you this right now, a lot of the doctors in my generation, they didn't want to be doctors. They wanted to do something else. Now, is being a doctor a flex? Absolutely. But a lot of people became doctors because they're thinking of their parents. They're thinking of carrying the load, that responsibility of their family, and this is the best way to do it legally. That is the limited thinking that most of us had. that we've grown up with. So again, I'm not speaking from a place of being ungrateful. I'm very grateful for my parents. Don't get me wrong, I am. And I would do any and everything for my parents. But at the same time, it sucks. It do. I'm sorry to say, it sucks that you not only have to think about yourself. You've created your own, especially if you're my age, 30. By this time, most of us has created our own little families that we're supposed to be focused on. But now we're also focused on our mom. We're also focused on our dad. And then because of the burdens that they have carried, that they've accumulated, you are focused on grandma, grandpa, all of that. You get what I'm saying? And I don't want to do that to my child. I don't want to do it to my child. And that is just my prayer. I'm speaking from a place of being humble. I am speaking from a place of being grateful. Do not get me wrong. Don't twist my words. But it is the truth. We have to do better and break those patterns, break those cycles, because again, a lot of our parents assume that they invest in all these mansions and all these houses that they don't want to sell, that we have the same vision as them. And that's not the case. I live in America. You get what I'm saying? I live in America.